Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Hope you enjoyed the Rolex 8 Circuit de l'Art. First time we've ever done an 8-hour race, 8-hour endurance event here for NOSSCAR on Gran Turismo Sport. It's in the history books. It was round one for the 2021 NOSSCAR Super GT Series and 2021 NOSSCAR GT Cup Series. Here we are, WeatherTech Laguna Seca, round two, the 2021 Super GT Series season GR1 cars, the prototype cars. And we have familiar faces back. Two-time champion Bill Baldwin will be here. Comes in second in the point standings. Timac, the Canadian, after the Rolex 8 win, holds the point standings lead for the first time in his career. Pac-Man, Even Steven, NASCAR, they'll all be there. It was a long off-season. Started Gran Turismo action for NOSSCAR back on 2019. Both seasons we've held for the GR1 cars. Bill Baldwin was crowned champion. Will he make it three? Or will Pac-Man, Timac, Even Steven, JRB, Ned, NASCAR, Juicy J, or someone we don't know about, give him a challenge? Time will tell, folks. We'll find out together. Get ready. Round two, the 2021 NOSSCAR Super GT Series, right here on Gran Turismo Sport, coming at you live from WeatherTech Laguna Seca, right here on the PlayStation 4 console. Here we go, folks. 1-hour endurance races. Drivers from 4 different countries represented on the starting grid. 18 drivers in total receiving points. 18 drivers logged a lap in qualifying and or practice. And as you can see, it's a grid start, not a rolling start. And we will be doing a couple of these towards the start of the season to kind of feel it out and test it out and see if it's something we want to do in the long run. And the green lights are on, the green flag is out, a lot of tire spin, a lot of wheel spin. Everyone's going to have to forgive me because my voice is definitely not up for this, but I'm up for it. And there they go through the first couple of turns of this WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca circuit. And it's the Canadian, the newcomer, Ned, holding on to the lead. He was a part of the winning team for the Rolex 8. 24 drivers in 20 different cars participated in the Rolex 8, first ever NOSSCAR Rolex 8. And Ned, along with Footman and Khalil, were able to win the GT Cup class. And it's a good battle for second and third. A little bit of a slip up there by NASCAR. That's Jesse Carlson. He's going to give up the third position to the two-time NOSSCAR Super GT Series champion, and that is Bill Baldwin. Just behind them, there's Bo Tedesco running in the 5th position. Overdrove that corner just a little bit. There's the Brazilian and Mazanin, and there's Andresli Gabriel. He got out of shape and contact was made there with Shadow, driving the 2011 Audi. Shadow is, and around went Gabriel, and that's a tough break. And one driver that paid off for that was Timac, one of the two Canadians in today's event. He was able to drive on by both of them, pick up that 7th position. Minor damage to the machine driven by Shadow. He scored in the 8th position. Matthias gained a few out of the exchange there. He's into the top 10 now, and Siltstrider into the top 10 as well. Gabriel looped it again in the final turn, and it looks like Ataxia was involved in that, and now he's going to bring up the rear of the field so far here in the 13. Checking in on the front runners, Zanin still running in the 6th position, Bo Tedesco running in 5th. There's Bill Baldwin in the 4th position. Jesse Carlson has actually worked his way back around Bill Baldwin at some point or another while we were going through the field just a little bit, and now he's all over the back bumper there of Pac-Man. Oh man, he's got to be really careful coming up that hill. It's a very challenging, very technical road course, a lot of different elevation changes, and it doesn't get too much more real than this here for console racing, Gran Turismo Sport. And Jesse Carlson doing a great job holding on to that GR1 prototype car here, the NOSSCAR Super GT Series, one of the harder series to find a victory or podium finish in, just simply because of how quick these cars are and how difficult they are to handle once the tires go away as well. It really becomes a game of a high-speed chess match the longer the race goes. Who's going to two-stop it? Who's going to three-stop it? Time will tell. Jesse Carlson draws to the inside of Pac-Man, but Pac-Man had the preferred groove going into the right-hander here, so he's going to hold on to that second-place position for now. Jesse falls in line. Bill not too far behind them. Bo Tedesco. And then top five looking pretty good. The top five have kind of separated themselves from the rest of the field a little bit. And the battle for sixth is on between Zanin out of Brazil and Timac, the Rolex 8 winner out of Canada. And off course goes Shadow in the 2011 Audi R18. He's going to get it back on course and going, but he lost the 8th position there to Silt Strider, former NOSSCAR champion on NASCAR 15 Victory Edition. There's Crazy Legs, Robert Lohman Sr. rounding out the top 10 right now. He was able to get around Gabriel from Brazil, and there's Ataxia on pit road getting service early in the going. We've lost one driver off the racetrack so far in this one. Remember, folks, 18 of them getting points, logging laps here. You see the NOSSCAR decal on the lead car there of Ned. Let's see if we can pull up the running order. Yeah, there we have it. And so now the viewers can get a bit of a better idea on where your favorite drivers are running. You can see the ticker over on the left side, what lap we're on, and the current running order. You have a track map to give you a bit of an idea on what car you're following there on the top right corner of your screen. And we're watching a good battle here so far. Jesse Carlson has worked his way around Pac-Man for the second place position, and Jesse's going for that first ever NOSSCAR Super GT Series win. And never mind, he gets the right sides over in the dirt just a little bit, and he spins. He just barely gets the car stopped in time before he gets the nose into the inside wall, and he's going to soldier on. But that's a heartbreaker for Jesse Carlson. Came into this race with high hopes. He knew he had a shot to win this race. Oh, now the tires are really upset, you can tell, and he makes another mistake there. He's going to let a couple of more cars go by. Zanin from Brazil and Timac, the Canadian. And Jesse Carlson back to 7th in a matter of one lap, and it's a heartbreaker. Bill Baldwin laying down a hot lap there, a 1:11.360. The balance of performance is on for these cars, these drivers, so all of these cars are relatively equal to a certain extent, at least from what the Gran Turismo Sport game thinks is equal, and for the most part it does a great job at that. Ned leading the way so far, and he's put a lap on a couple of cars here so far. Top 11 scored on the lead lap at this time. Keep your eye on the running order on the left side of your screen. See where your favorite drivers are running. There is the two-time NOSSCAR Super GT Series champion, Bill Baldwin, and he narrowly missed the spinning Ataxia. And that's a shame because, as you can see, when we got over to him, he was actually on his quickest time through that sector of the racetrack, and he's going to get it going again, but not having the race he was hoping for here early in the going at WeatherTech Laguna Seca. And there's the Rolex 8 winner and former NOSSCAR champion on NASCAR Heat 4. And that is Timac. He's coming in as the points leader. First time he's ever held the points lead for the NOSSCAR Super GT Series. Doesn't think it's going to last too long, but it's definitely a high note in his career so far. Last year's NOSSCAR GT Cup Series champion, and that is Pac-Man. There you see him, having a solid run here so far, doing everything he needs to do. Comes up on a slower car there, and that was Crazy Legs, and now the leaders are dealing with a couple of lapped cars. You saw Gabriel was able to take the 10th position away from Crazy Legs, but these top three cars are really having to be careful not too many passing zones on this racetrack, and now you can see Ned had to really lift there for Gabriel, and now here comes Pac-Man. I apologize to the viewers, my voice is definitely not up for this, but I'm up for this, and it needed to happen. And I'm here, and Ned holding on to the lead so far. The top three have broken away from the rest of the field just a little bit, but they're all battling each other now, and that's actually allowing Bo Tedesco to reel him in a little bit. And now Gabriel was spun over there right before they come to the last turn. He's going to get it going again, but he actually goes over into the gravel trap to get out of the way. Timac was able to avoid it. Very impressed with Zanin. First start here for him in the NOSSCAR Super GT Series. And he's the highest running Brazilian of the two right now. They're running 5th and 10th on the racetrack. The two Canadians running in 1st and 6th. And then you have the rest of them are all American drivers here in the NOSSCAR Super GT Series. There's Bill Baldwin. A little bit of a wiggle there. I think he's trying to clean the tires off. And we'll keep our eye as well on Jesse Carlson. As you can see, he just caught Timac, but he goes off-roading, and he nearly spun it. What a save again. Former NOSSCAR winner on NASCAR Heat 5 and in 4 different series, actually, on the NASCAR Heat Games. Jesse Carlson has found victory lane. 3 wins this year for him in the NOSSCAR Platinum Cup Series. He was all over the back bumper of Timac there, battling for that 6th position. We know he's got a top 3 car. It's just a matter of him getting back up there. Easier said than done. Not easy to make passes here. We have a new race leader, and it's Pac-Man in the Toyota TS050. 2016 Toyota TS050 leading the way. And Ned drops back to 2nd. We didn't see exactly what happened there, but whatever happened, it was enough for Ned to lose the lead. Ned, a very talented driver, owns his own league and does very well over there, as does his buddy Footman and Bo Tedesco, Chil Khalil, and others. And we have a few drivers from that series coming over and making a few starts in the near future, so don't miss that. Keep your eye on drivers like Bill Baldwin, Ned, and Pac-Man to run full-time this season, as well as Timac and Silt Strider and Shadow as well. Shadow having a good run up there inside the top 10. Timac has taken the 5th place position, but I believe there might have been a little bit of contact in the process. Let's see what happened there. Oh, kind of looks like the Brazilian pinched him a little bit, and that upset the car. And then Timac ran wide, and off the racetrack went the Brazilian driver of Zanin. We'd have to get a slightly better look at it, but it kind of looked like Timac couldn't have got too much lower. I don't know, one of those racing deals. You don't want to ever make contact in races here on Gran Turismo Sport. It's not like NASCAR, and as soon as you install the game, it actually gives you a full rundown on how to race, and good racing etiquette and good professionalism and respect throughout every race. And no pit stops amongst all the front runners, but we do have a good battle for the 2nd and 3rd positions. Ned trying to hold on to it. Bill Baldwin, defending champion and 2-time champion of this series, trying to take it. Ooh, it was close there, but a great job by Ned to just barely hold on. There was no contact, but Bill definitely needed to lift a little bit. Had no choice, so there was going to be contact, and that's one of those racing deals. That's racing for you. You don't, it's not all about letting cars go, even though sometimes that is the best way to go about things. If a car's faster than you, it is a respectful thing to do, but at the same time, these are all very valuable points, and the one thing you need to keep in mind is Ned, he entered the Rolex 8 in the GT Cup Series division. He did not enter a Super GT Series car, so therefore, he's actually doing his best to catch up a little bit in the point standings. He didn't get any points for this Super GT Series in the Rolex 8, like Bill Baldwin and Pac-Man and Timac did. Off track a little bit there went Ned, but he's still able to hold on to that 2nd position. The best battle on the racetrack right now is for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th positions. They're coming up on a couple of lapped cars. It could get interesting here very soon. Checking in on the Brazilian driver of Zanin. He's running in the 7th position. He's lost some ground, and he's actually just went off course a little bit, but a good save there, and he's soldiering on inside the top 10. Shadow has made a move on Strider to take the 8th position away. Strider doing his best to come back on him. Actually, it kind of looked like Strider was lifting a bit extra to let him have it, maybe. Good friends off the track, and they race each other very clean on it as well, and they're having a good battle there for those 8th and 9th positions. Timac just behind him, running in the 5th position, trying to work his way around them without losing any time, but I think he did. It looked like he got a little bit out of shape there, and it allowed Jesse Carlson, who runs in 6th, to gain some ground. About a second and a half, I believe, he gained on him through that last sector of the racetrack, and it's not anything Shadow's doing wrong. It's not anything that Strider's doing wrong. They're racing, and they're racing for position as well. They don't necessarily need to get out of the way, though it is a respectful thing to do, and it's not easy to get out of the way on a difficult track like WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. To pit road goes Ned. He's going to surrender the 2nd place position. He was just barely holding off Bill Baldwin for that spot. And what are we at here? We're at the 16-minute mark of the race, so it looks like Ned and maybe even NASCAR Jesse Carlson, they're dedicating themselves to a 3-stop race, whereas it looks like Timac has stayed out. Zanin out of Brazil has not come to pit road either. Bill Baldwin, Pac-Man, they might be trying to wait it out until the 20-minute mark of the race before making their first pit stop. Pac-Man on pit road. Bo Tedesco on pit road with a whole lot less fuel than Pac-Man does, so a quicker pit stop for Pac-Man. This puts Bill Baldwin out front. Yet to come to pit road, and keep in mind, this is a little bit unusual. Pac-Man might be still going for the 2-stop strategy, but he kind of short pit there a little bit. I wonder if he's trying to keep the track position, but still dedicate himself to a 2-stop strategy. He got himself close enough to that 20-minute mark of this race to the point where it still might work out for him. But Bill Baldwin still on the racetrack. Pac-Man has taken over the race lead yet again. Timac has yet to come to pit road, so that's why he is scored in that 2nd place position. 2021 NOSSCAR Rolex 8 winner at Circuit de la Sarthe, famous track where they held the 24-hour Le Mans race. It was a long, grueling, challenging race. He did it on a Logitech G29 wheel, and 24 drivers entered in 20 different cars. The top 16 advanced to the big race, and 2 different classes of cars participated. GR3 cars for the NOSSCAR GT Cup Series, and GR1 cars for this series you are watching, folks. NOSSCAR Super GT Series action. There's Bo Tedesco in 3rd. I don't know if he's actually come to pit road or not. There you see he's driving the 2011 Audi R18 and putting it to good use today. He had driven all the way inside the top 5 before the first round of pit stops began. And Bill Baldwin closing in. And he doesn't come to pit road this time. Timac didn't either. Could be an interesting strategy developing here for these drivers. Gotta wonder if maybe they're trying to stretch it to the 25 to 30-minute mark and maybe even one-stop it. A one-stop is very rarely going to get you the victory here. And contact made there between Pac-Man and Crazy Legs. Crazy Legs running in 10th, 1 lap down. 10 cars left on the racetrack. 13 started the race. 18 drivers getting points for their performance in qualifying and practice, but contact was made there, and Crazy Legs at this point just trying to hold on for dear life. He knows he's going to get a top 10 finish. He's already a couple of laps down, but he's still soldiering on. We can update you on Strider, driving the 2016 Audi R18, teammates with Timac, and running in the 7th position. He was able to get back around Shadow. He's been having a good battle with him for most of this race. He was having a battle with Jesse Carlson as well until Jesse was able to get around him and pretty much drive away. Jesse's got a top 3 car. He's been practicing a lot for this race, qualified strong, ran up in the top 3 for a lot of this race at the start until a problem, and that's the only reason why he's lost some positions. Bill Baldwin has overtaken Bo Tedesco for that third position. And he's now overtaken Timac for second. Gotta wonder what's going on with Timac. Bo has now hit pit road for the first time, I believe, in this race. Excuse me, actually, no, it's for the second time in this race. Now that I'm remembering correctly, he pit a little bit earlier and had a whole lot less fuel left in the tank than Pac-Man did. Pit on the same lap he did. But I gotta wonder what's going on here with Timac. He's yet to come to pit road. He's lost the lead. He's lost second. And he might lose third here in a moment to his Canadian buddy, and that's Ned. Ned won the pole for this race, led a lot of laps, but then lost the lead to Pac-Man and was trying desperately to hold on to second from Bill Baldwin and made a pit stop right before he was maybe going to lose that position. But here he comes, soldiering back, and if all hold station now, depending on what Timac does and how far this one or two stop strategy takes him, Ned's in position to get a podium finish. And the Canadians are going to battle for it here. Much fresher tires advantage going to the Porsche driver of Ned. Oh, drove it in a whole lot deeper there. Don't think contact was made. Boy, it was close, though. He's going to get a good launch out of this turn. Oh, and there was definitely contact there. I think that Timac needs to lift a lot more because of his tires being so worn, and Ned wasn't ready for that. Damage might have been done to both cars. We'll have to see as this run goes along, but Ned takes the third position away, as was expected. And the next car to catch this battle for the third and fourth positions is Jesse Carlson, though he is a couple of turns behind. Solid lap times for him all race long. Those 111s, those are key. And Timac finally is going to come to pit road. Siltstrider and Shadow, they're going to do the same. And there you see service has been done. The team still wearing the Sunoco uniforms that they ran in the Rolex 8 event. And he's still staying put to fuel the car to maximum here and try to go the full distance to the end of the race. Don't think it's going to be a race-winning move by Timac, but it might be a move that maybe could get him into the podium. Maybe a top 5 finish. Again, folks, I'd like to apologize for my voice. It's not doing good. It has seen better days, but here to call the action for the second race in the 2021 NOSSCAR Super GT Series season, hosted right here on Gran Turismo Sport. You're watching WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca event, and Pac-Man is leading the way with Bill Baldwin, Ned, NASCAR, Oof, and Timac. Rounding out the top 5, Bo Tedesco, Siltstrider, Shadow, Ataxia, and Crazy Legs. The rest of the top 10. Good battle, actually, for the 9th and 10th positions. Crazy Legs only a couple of car lengths behind him here. As they work their way around this course, we are a little bit over halfway done. A little bit of a penalty here for the two-time NOSSCAR Super GT Series champion. Doesn't look like anything major. Going to be able to easily kill the penalty off within the next couple of turns, and he does. Still trying to work his way towards Pac-Man, but I'll tell you, the gap is quite large. Pac-Man is very in control of this race for the time being, holding on for dear life and hoping that the clock just ticks a little faster for him here as he works his way around the racetrack in that 2016 Toyota TS050. To pit road he comes at the 34-minute mark. It's looking like a 3-stop strategy for Pac-Man at this point. And even with this 3-stop strategy, with the lead he has and with the lap times he's going to be able to keep running because of constantly having fresh tires, it still might get him the win here. But I believe Bill Baldwin is going for that 2-stop strategy, trying to make it work and try to overtake the win and steal one here. Laguna Seca, we'll have to see how it all shakes out. We can also tell you Jesse Carlson has just worked his way down pit road. The crew going up over the wall with tires and air guns in hand. and scheduled service for that team. And this moves everybody up a spot from about the top 5, top 6 on up. Jesse's going to fall into 6th, but he'll gain some of that back when these drivers come to pit road. The only driver we know for sure is not coming to pit road again is Timac. In that 2016 Audi R18, he scored in 4th. The lap times are not looking good, but keep in mind he's trying to save the fuel and the tires to make it on a one-stop strategy. Just ran a 1:11.883 to open it up a little bit, but following lap going to run a 1:13 to whoa it back down and try to save the fuel and the tires just a little bit. Laps are winding down, the clock is winding down. We're watching these cars every time they come by the entrance to pit road. Bill Baldwin is going to surrender the race lead at the 41-minute mark, and we'll have to see where he comes out in relation to Pac-Man, but I believe Pac-Man is going to be much further ahead. So if Pac-Man can hold on for the rest of the race without having to come back to pit road, he's going to win round 2 of the season. Such quick pit stops here in Gran Turismo Sport. And Bill's trying to steal the show away from Pac-Man by making this 2-stop strategy work. Pac-Man dedicated to the 3-stop strategy. Ned on a 2-stopper and actually, excuse me, Ned on a 3-stopper rather, just like Pac-Man. And that might be the most exciting part about these NOSSCAR Gran Turismo Sport races. So much strategy involved. A lot of these drivers trying to figure out how the tires are going to be looking, how the fuel's going to be looking if at the end of one of these runs, if they're pushing their hardest, or if they can find a way to still be fast and save a little bit of fuel in the process. They're working on it and they're doing it. Less time on pit road, the better. Especially if it doesn't take long to come down to pit road to get service. Sometimes it's a little better to go with a 2 or 3 stop strategy. But if it's a long journey down pit road until you get to your pit crew to get service, you know, sometimes it's better to try to stick it out and save a lap or 2 on fuel and make 1 or 2 less pit stops during the race. Oh, Tedesco having a good run there. 2016 Audi R18, putting it to good use. Jesse Carlson has been slowly but surely working his way back towards the top 5. Ever since his mistake there early in this race, he's been trying to recover after spinning and going off course. Pac-Man has made his 3rd and final pit stop of the race. It was much earlier than I expected. Evidently, he could not go the distance on the fuel and the tires that he had. And so now it is Bill Baldwin who has the race lead. The 2-time and defending NOSSCAR Super GT Series champion has taken the race lead. He's been in this position dozens and dozens of times before in NOSSCAR races, and he might be closing in on what would be another one. And you can see Pac-Man is closing in. He's got those 4 fresh tires and he's putting them to great use. He's reeling in his good friend Bill Baldwin. They're great buddies off the racetrack. They race each other as clean and humble and respectful as they possibly can. They run a couple of other leagues as well, or they have in the past anyways, and they run very well here in NOSSCAR. They're always up at the front battling for these wins. 2 very different strategies here today for these 2 drivers at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, round 2 of the 2021 NOSSCAR Super GT Series season, hosted right here on Gran Turismo Sport. We're closing in on the checkered flag. 11 more minutes, or excuse me, about 10 minutes and 14 seconds remaining in this race, and then wherever these drivers are on the racetrack the next time they hit the start-finish line, they'll see the checkered flag as well, and this one will be in the history books. Bill Baldwin doing everything he can to keep the lead over Pac-Man. The only thing he can maybe hope for is to hope that the tires equalize out a little bit and Pac-Man gets stuck in the dirty air behind Bill's car and just can't make a pass and wears his tires out trying. we're going to rewind here for a moment. There was a big problem there for Pac-Man. Oversteered the right-hand turn and then went wide there and got his left side tires into the dirt and lost a lot of valuable ground to Bill Baldwin. Now he's got to clean his tires off and make one last charge. He doesn't have too much time to do it. And the other thing you got to keep in mind, these drivers are encountering lapped cars frequently here as they work their way around this racetrack. There was a battle for fourth a couple of laps ago. Jesse Carlson was able to take the fourth position away from Timac. Timac not running the pace that Jesse is, trying to make it on one pit stop. There's Bo Tedesco reeling him in, and Bo's got the much fresher tires out of these two drivers. We'll have to see how it all shakes out. So many different strategies have been unfolded and revealed here and thrown together throughout this race. There's the pole sitter, Ned out of Canada, the newcomer. Very fast Porsche for this race. Led the opening, I want to say about 5 to 8 minutes of this event. Then he got passed by Pac-Man and he was trying everything he could to keep Bill Baldwin behind him. Came in early to make it a 3 pit stop strategy for him today, and it's going to get him a podium finish. Might not be where he was hoping to finish, but still a great way to start your 2021 Super GT Series season. Keep in mind he didn't run in the Super GT class for the Rolex 8, so he's got no points for this series coming into this event. He's kind of playing catch-up at this point, and therefore not necessarily on anybody's radar to win the championship for Super GT, but certainly on everyone's radar to go on out there, win some pole awards, and win some races as well. There was a car off there in the gravel trap, and we're going to watch the battle for the win between Pac-Man and Bill Baldwin. They might be on their very last lap, under a minute remaining. And if the clock runs out before they hit the start-finish line, it'll end the race when they hit the checkered flag. Pac-Man's there. Not too many more passing zones left. It's going to be really close to see if they get there in time before the end of the lap and before the end of the clock. And to the outside goes Pac-Man, trying to make the move for the lead. He couldn't quite get it to stick. He was going to slide over into Bill Baldwin if he didn't lift a little bit. Now, if they get there before the clock runs out, they've got another lap of this. Oh, it's going to be close. Pac-Man to the inside. Contact was made. He forces his buddy into the rumble strip a little bit. They both hang on to it, and now they begin the final lap. They beat it by under a second, folks. Bill Baldwin back to the bottom of Pac-Man. Contact made again, and he takes the lead back. Man, this is wild. Fifth on back. Has finished the race already. Timac is going to finish fifth at that one-stop strategy. Bo Tedesco in sixth. Silstrider seventh. Shadow in eighth. Ataxia in ninth. Crazy Legs in 10th. 13 drivers started the race. 18 drivers participated in the overall event and will receive points. And man, we're watching an epic battle between two good buddies. More contact made. You wouldn't know that they're friends. Off the track goes Bill Baldwin. Pac-Man, I think, is lifting to let Bill get back to him. He is. A friendly and respectful gesture, and now it is on again. 3 turns left. Oh, Pac-Man might be out of fuel. Pac-Man is out of gas, we're hearing in the last couple of turns. The two-time NOSSCAR Super GT Series champion, Bill Baldwin, comes out at the final turn, and he wins here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. A wild finish, and Pac-Man, out of fuel, is still trying to make his way around and claim the second place position. Ned is going to finish in third. Jesse Carlson recovers for a fourth place finish. Congratulations to Bill Baldwin. Round 2 of the 2021 NOSSCAR Super GT Series season is in the history books. Congratulations to the two-time champ, and we will see you next race.